Now, your next question may naturally be, BJ, how much should I actually invest every single month? This is actually one of the coolest concepts, right? It's all mathematics, and I like math because numbers don't lie, and that's why I like it so much. I'm going to show you something, and then you tell me how much you think you should invest. All right, let's jump into it. For those of you who've never heard of this man, his name is Mr. Money Mustache. First name is Pete, and he wrote this article back in 2012. It's called The Shockingly Simple Math Behind Early Retirement. And in here, he talks about something known as the savings rate. This is a percentage of your take-home salary. For example, if you are able to save 64% of your money, you can actually retire in just 10.9 years. As we continue scrolling down, he has assumptions, assuming earning a 5% return and assuming you can live off 4% of your investments. Let's actually talk about this 4% of your investments really quick. There are studies that show you can safely withdraw 4% of your stock market portfolio every single year over a course of 30 years, and you have a 95% chance of not running out of money. Now, this study has been conducted. There's been a lot of criticism. There has been a lot of back and forth in the community, but a safer, more conservative alternative is to use the 3% rule, which means you can safely withdraw 3% of your investment portfolio every single year, and you'll have a 99% chance of not running out of money. And so if you need to figure out how much money you need for retirement, you need to take your expected annual living expenses, multiply it by 33, or somewhere between 25 to 33 to figure out how much money you need. Let's say you expect to spend $100,000 adjusted for inflation every single year at retirement. So if you're doing the 4% rule, you take 100,000 times 25. So you need $2.5 million to have a 95% chance of not running out of money over a 30-year time period, assuming you withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio every single year. Now, if you want to be more conservative, you could take that 100,000, multiply it by 33. So you would need $3.3 million to safely withdraw $100,000 every single year following the 3% withdrawal rate, and you'll have a 99% chance of not ever running out of money. Again, these could be flexible. You can decide what you want to do, but these are just studies that came out. So 4% is fairly conservative. If you want to be more conservative, 3% is probably better. So now going into this, Mr. Money Mustache has laid this out. So if you save 5% of your money, so let's say you make $100, you take $5 of it and you invest it, you would have to work for 66 years. And this is assuming you have 5% investment returns and you live off 4% using the safe withdrawal rate. Now, let's say you're able to save 50% of your paycheck. That means you only have to work for another 17 years, which is kind of cool, right? Now, just to show you how this chart works, if you're able to save 100% of your paycheck, that means you're having an income stream from a different source, or you have enough assets where you're able to withdraw money and your paycheck you don't actually even need. That means you're already retired. That's what zero means. You're saving 100% of your paycheck. So the higher the savings rate, it shortens up your time to retirement. So if you continue investing more and more each month and try to get as close as possible to this without compromising on your lifestyle, you can actually get literally decades of your life back just by doing this simple strategy. Let's take a look at this calculator. Let's say you make $100,000, and this is just for simple numbers, and let's say you save 5% of your paycheck. Now, the standard, it's set at 5% annual investment return, but with our strategy, I think we could safely make 10%, and I think we can actually probably do better, but just for simple numbers, we're gonna save 10%. If you save 5%, that means you're only saving $5,000. It would take you 40.7 years to retire. Now let's up it to 25%. You can literally cut that retirement down to only 22 years. 50%, 13 years. If you're saving 75% of your paycheck, you can retire in less than a decade. And that's the whole beauty of it, right? It's how much do you want to invest? So just by showing you that, the question comes back, how much should you invest? And the answer is, it really depends on how much of your life do you want back. If you're able to make necessary sacrifices right now to put away as much money as possible, you don't have to work until you're 65 or 70 or 80 years old. You can literally retire in the next 10 to 20 years if you do it properly. And imagine how much of your life you're going to get back. And that's the reason I'm so passionate about this course, right? Investing is essential to getting that freedom, right? You're no longer tied to your job. This means you can do whatever you want, where you can create value. You can add more value to the world. right? People work just so they can get their paycheck, and I get it, right? You need to do that. It's important. But I think what's more important is to be your true, most authentic self so you can provide the most value to the world and not be tied to a paycheck, not being restricted by that. And the cool thing is, if you love your job, absolutely no worries, like continue working, right? The whole point is that this gives you options, this gives you flexibility. This gives you that freedom. And then what happens if, let's say there's a recession, you get let go? All your coworkers, all your peers are going to be struggling to find a job. They're going to have a hard time making ends meet. And you'll be fine because you know you have such a high aggressive savings rate that you don't actually need a job, right? You'll be fine. You'll have that peace of mind. So again, you decide how much you want to invest. Let's say you max out your Roth IRA, you have that $6,000 in there. You can now open up a taxable brokerage account and start investing in there. I hope this video helps clearing up how much should you invest.